supposed to tell the politicians what to do.
The government moves so slow.
I think the reason why we look to them is because we were taught history wrong. I was like, Martin Luther King was not no magical Negro.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday Eve. I am here with my homegirl. I'm so excited that she's here. I forgot to introduce myself. Damn. Yo, if you've never been here before, my name is Christian, aka Pan. This is Politics with Pan. Now, I'm here with my homegirl, the Staci Childs. What is going on, my friend?
Nothing much. Woo! I like the clouds. And I have to tell you, that beat, that your intro beat.
I appreciate
Very
that.
good.
I be trying to keep the vibes. But thank you so much for being on, Staci. It's been a long time coming that we were supposed to sit down and talk about just politics in general. But it's so amazing now that you've taken time as a superstar in the political spectrum here to come and be on Politics with Pan with me. So I appreciate that. So how's your day going? What's going on with you?
It's going good. I just recently resigned from State Board of Education on Saturday.
Okay.
So the outpouring of support and love since that decision has been very kind, very nice. Sometimes when you're just in the thick of it, you don't realize that you're making an impact on folks' lives. And then now the precinct chair election that will take place has quite a few people in the race. And I'm like, nobody was checking for SBOE prior to a few years ago. So I gave myself like a little pat on the back. Like, everybody want to be on the SBOE now.
Yeah. Like, I think so for those of you who don't know, Staci, you were a teacher before. Yes. Staci was a teacher. She became an attorney and was always, I think, on the inside a politician. Just maybe she didn't know, the Lord hadn't put it on the heart yet. Mm-hmm. She ran and on the SBOE. And I mean, you became an instant celebrity on the board. I would say so, right? There are different levels of it, right? Like in a political realm, like you are someone who people are going to talk about what you think and what you said and why you said it. And those sound bites, those videos, those opinions, they vibrated across the state at such a high frequency that you have people on their phones working their thumbs at such a tremendous rate. Like, it is amazing. I mean, just to see your ascension this entire time has been awesome. I mean, because you're just, someone who cares so deeply and you fight so hard and it is apparent in the work. Like, so you might not feel like a celebrity. Like, I got a friend, right? I have a friend. He's a reality TV YouTuber. He's been a guest on here before. His name is Brandon Chappelle. And Brandon is not, an ASAP Rocky celebrity, right? But in his space, this guy is super famous. Like, people love him. He comes in there like, oh my God, it's Brandon. He's here. Like, so like your star is where your people are. And where your people are, your star like shines bright, bro. So you got to get another intense applause for that.
Thank you.
So, after I'm done admonishing you now. Tell us, like, what was your experience being on the SBOE?
Yeah. Oh, it was like definitely one of the highlights of my life, good and bad. One of the best things I've ever done. One of the worst things I ever went through. The worst decisions I ever made. One of the best decisions I ever made, but it was one of the hardest things I went through. 15 people sit on the board. I'm a Democrat, right? So there are 5 of us that align with the Democratic Party, 10 Republicans, and then 5 of those 10 Republicans are what we call MAGA. So very far right. So when I entered this space back in 2022, I was told from a lot of like old heads and stuff, look, just say what you feel on the dais. You ain't gonna get nothing passed. You ain't gonna do nothing, but make sure your constituents hear you. And I've experienced a lot of that, but I didn't go in with that mindset. Mm-hmm. I went in trying my best to work across the aisle to get stuff done, even like small changes, because with only 5 Democrats, you were gonna have to get Republican support to get things done back home in District 4. I don't know if how well that was always received with my own party, with my own colleagues, but we got some things done. But then as the years went on and Trump got elected in 2024, things just got even more polarized. So these people that I would say, hey, how you doing, to on the Republican side, when I started hearing their stances on like history and like some of the things that I felt was very bigoted, I was like, weren't we just kicking it in the break room? Weren't we just sharing granola bars and banana nut bread? How could you come on this dais and say this stuff? And my big black self is sitting here. But some of those folks had a reputation to maintain for their party back in their hometowns. And sometimes I'm like, I know you ain't no way you believe some of this stuff that you're saying. But a lot of them faced being unsat by even more conservative people. So all of that was just taking place for the past 4 years. And what I just ended on was social studies. And that's kind of what I ran on. It's so funny how God brought that full circle. I ran because I wanted to make sure Black history stayed in the textbooks. And my last 2 meetings, that was what the sessions were about. And I feel bad for students in public schools when it comes to social studies instruction. I feel bad for our Texas kids. I feel real bad. So that I'm getting ready to create my own Black history curriculum because I'm like, ain't no way in the hell y'all about to learn that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, and like, I don't know if everybody saw, but the interaction that you had with the lady that bought you the book about Thomas Jefferson.
Came bearing gifts today for you, Miss Childs. This book that I mentioned last time by David Barton sets out to correct the distorted image of Thomas Jefferson, who was an abolitionist and almost went to blows trying to get it into our original documents. I even signed it for you. And I haven't forgotten about you, Miss Clark. This book highlights the themes of the Great Gatsby's view on the consequences of seeking only what the world can offer.
You told me that you signed this gift. Did you write this book?
I didn't write the book, but I wrote you a scripture in there.
I see John 8:31-32.
My name, so you know it's from me. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the legal term opening the door?
The legal term?
Yeah, opening the door. Mm-hmm.
Please explain your version of opening the door.
So you opened the door about Thomas Jefferson and the literary list by giving me this. So I'm going to continue to question you about it.
Sure.
Can you show me the pages where it talks about the 600 enslaved people that Thomas Jefferson owned?
Let me tell you about Thomas Jefferson.
Just that question. Just that particular question, just answering that. You gave me this gift.
It was illegal at the time.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Slaves.
Hold on one second. You gave me this gift.
Yes.
I'm assuming you read it because you signed it, and you added John 8:31. The truth shall set you free. So I'm asking you about your truth right now. What page number says this is about Jefferson lies dispelled? What page number talks about the 600 slaves or enslaved people that Thomas Jefferson owned? What page?
Am I supposed to have a photographic memory to tell you which page?
What chapter?
It's not about that, ma'am. The reason
if you don't know,
is because lies have been told about him.
Understood.
And we have to tear down strongholds, and we come into the knowledge of the truth, whereby the truth.
I went to church yesterday, so I don't need you to give me a Sunday school lesson on church.
Last visit,
I want you to answer.
That Thomas Jefferson was in fact a villain.
I want you to
when
answer.
When I said our forefathers are being made out to be villains,
we only get 10 minutes per item. We're on page 4 out of 16.
A villain.
So if you don't know what chapter, remember, Charles,
to make it legal to set those people free. He actually got a fight.
Shields, you're out of order right now.
So my question was, does this book have a chapter or a page discussing that fact?
The fact that it was legal at the time, it was illegal to release those slaves. He was not a harsh slave owner, and he went to blows with somebody over getting it put in the original documents to free the slaves. He was an abolitionist.
Got it. Okay. So was he the author of the statement, all men are created equal?
We are by God.
No, I'm asking you, did Thomas Jefferson coin the phrase, all men are created equal?
This is in our founding documents. Yes, ma'am. And he's a founding father. And the last time I was here, you agreed that he was in fact a villain, and this is why I brought you this gift today.
Okay.
Because I said there are books out there like David Barton that give you the truth, whereby the truth can set us free.
So that, and we'll get in here, that is a mischaracterization of my testimony. Another legal term.
You are.
I said that he participated in villain-like behavior. Would you agree that the harsh treatment that Black Americans endured during the chattel slavery time in the United States of America was villain-like behavior, which is documented that there were over 600 enslaved people in Monticello, Virginia, under the care of Thomas Jefferson. And you, hold on, I'm not finished. And you did not answer the question.
I will say again.
I'm not done. So you brought this book here.
That's right.
You decided to try to give us a lesson to the two Black women on the board.
Because you
so I'm asking you a question. This is called a check.
I was setting the record straight.
This is called a check for understanding, teacher. Since you wanted to give me a lesson and you wanted to give Member Clark a lesson,
you told me
you can have your book back.
So I guess you didn't want an education on the truth about Thomas Jefferson.
Ma'am, your testimony is over.
Is that like is that the vibration there? Like, is that?
Yeah. So I took it easy on her. We already know Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. We already know he raped his slave Sally Hemings. We already know like the details. But like in that exchange, I was taking it easy on her. That is the pulse, especially on public testimony day. There are, I would say, 3 to 4 very conservative members of the board. And a lot of them have the money, campaign dollars, and the support to bring 10, 20, 30 people to Austin. Yeah. For me, trying to get folks from Houston to come, I would say hundreds of my people in Houston want to come, but they got to work. A lot of them are teachers, so they're like, I'm not going to get fired just to testify, you know? So we have more barriers. So a lot of times that lady who shared that book, those voices get like echoed, and it's annoying as hell. It's like you coming and you're testifying. You don't have to have any credentials. You don't have to have any experience. You don't have to say I'm an expert in this type of study. But sometimes we make policies and we change things based on what we hear during public comment.
Yeah. So I mean, any yoo-hoo can just come in there and say whatever it is they'd like to say. I mean, if anybody's watched a city council meeting, I mean, it's pretty much the same. Right. Yeah. Like this, like I know those people around the horseshoe, like they get tired of them same old people who, you know, say that the aliens are coming and that we need the tax dollars to make sure that we got a defense system. I mean, I get it. I mean, and that's part
of some of that stuff, you know, you'll hear that, but like some of that stuff that we think is crazy, it was too much of that happening. And some of the members of the board agreed with them. So I'm like, okay, something wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, you know, as far as, you know, Black people are concerned, Black students and Black parents, like what is the thing that you want them to be aware of? Like if it's something that you could echo through the halls to Black people, I would probably say nationwide, right? Texas is like, or what works in other places. So what would you say is dominating the space?
This is why I will always support you in anything you do politically, because you always uplift that question, and a lot of other people are not doing that. Black students in Texas, first of all, let me backtrack. There are more Black people in the state of Texas than any other state. We already know that, right? So how is it that when you flip that on its head and you look at academic achievement, Black students underperform every other racial group in every subject, every grade level? How does anybody sit with that and just say, well, like I truly believe that there are some people who don't look like us who think, yeah, it's like that because y'all stupid. And we know that that's not the case. We have been at a disadvantage in this country since we got here, and it's by the grace of God and our own resilience that me and you can have conversations like this and be in these spaces. But that is not the reality for every child. And there are so many laws and policies being put in place so that we can't have candid conversations like that. But I wish people would like force this conversation. Like I never forget this. Last year, I brought 5 students from HISD and from Harmony to see the SBOE meeting. And they looking at the STAR scores, they're looking at the commissioner's report, and they're texting me in the group chat like, wow, the Black kids at the bottom. That's us. That's me. And I'm like, and they're in the uproar, and these kids are 13, 14, 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
And it's like almost like I'm always the elephant in the room. I'm always the one bringing it up. It's always heavy, but it doesn't have to be like that if y'all pay attention for us for once. And I would go on to say, I think the reason why our achievement is kind of low is because of what we learn about ourselves. You
Yeah.
can't tell me you read a book and you see people that look like you, your same skin tone. All you see is shackles and chains. You turn the next page, you see them get hosed by dogs. You see the next chain, you see a police officer choking George Floyd. So that is the gamut of our existence as Black people. Of course
Yeah.
not. You and me both know that we're beautiful and we're resilient and we have color and flavor and pizzazz. And the students at their onset, they're not learning that. When you're 3 to 7 years old, I say 0 to 7. That is the most important time of your identity formation as a human being. What these kids learning about their identity in Texas public schools? Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
So I wish I could just take a megaphone and sing to the mountaintops, teach the fullness of our history, and that don't mean just the truth about slavery. That means everything about us, the things that y'all are jealous of, the things that y'all go pay for so y'all could be more like us, the
Hmm.
things that y'all can't get nowhere else but in our communities. Teach that too.
Yeah.
And those are tough conversations to have. It's hard to get a lot of buy-in. So I'll tell the Black electeds, and they probably already know this, we have to figure out ways that we get at the same goal without always saying Black. So for me, I got $3.5 million from the legislature last year to do some tutoring at failing campuses. I'm not saying every Black child goes to a failing campus, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
They don't like really legislation around like zip codes because they feel like that's like you trying to say race without saying it. But
Yeah.
we have to be very smart about how we can help Black students and Black people get the things they need, even when they're trying to silence us for pushing forth like Black legislation.
Yeah. You know,
That's a long answer. I'm sorry. That's
no,
my
it's all
full
right.
assessment about that.
I mean, whoever receives it need it, they need it, right? Like, so that was some good information. And I know what you're saying that I'm doing some work with a brother, and all the stuff I do is rooted in Blackness. I mean, I'm going Black this, Black this, Black
Yes.
that. But we were having a conversation, and I'm trying to get this project funded. And he was saying you got to make your work race and gender neutral. And at first I was like, oh man, but the reality is the political climate and just the way that things are going, you do have to do that. You do have to use specific words and code it a specific kind of way to be able to get the money to come down the pipeline the way you need to come down the pipeline. I mean, and it's unfortunate because it stops Black people from being able to get legislation specifically that names the plight specifically for us, because you got to do these specific workarounds. And I think that right now, right, like especially you see with the DSA candidates winning, you see the back and forth between the more moderate side of the party, the more liberal side of the party, like, and like the business class, the corporate class, they are losing grips on like what they had. You know what I mean? Like you can see it, like it's changing. They got Haley Stevens, but they got Cori Bush, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like this tug of war is seriously happening as far as people who are more race conscious and have more cultural
People tired of
competency,
struggling. People tired of being
right?
gaslit.
And I think that with these different changes, I mean, we may be 50, 60, probably 70 years old, but I think there is coming a day where there will be a piece of legislation that says the word Black in it, or
Amen.
like names the plight of Black people specifically, so that there's a generation of grandkids who will have their protections, because so many people was like, we ain't gonna give up, we're gonna keep on
I'm gonna tell
fighting.
you a story. That's good. I'm gonna tell you a story about that. All right. You heard about the Bluebonnet curriculum?
No.
Okay, so now that I'm not on the SBOE, I guess I can share this. So the Bluebonnet curriculum is the Texas Education Agency's curriculum.
Okay.
It's filled with like Bible stories and all this different type of stuff. I think it's not the best, but it's not the worst, right? A lot of people were against it. I was already slated to vote no. Like it's almost like you would think, okay, you better vote against that because Mike Morath and the commissioner, he made that, so you better vote no. But like I told you in the beginning, you're not finna just tell me to vote yes or no. I got to check out everything.
Yeah.
So I kind of withheld how I was gonna vote for quite a few months because the commissioner wanted my insight. And so I said, let me read the curriculum. He mailed me all these books, K through 5. So I'm reading them. I'm seeing all these mistakes when it comes to our history, all this stuff left out. So I give him like 200 changes because he didn't know I was going to vote no. And I still had my options open. He accepted about 100, 120 of the changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, well, what will it take to get your support? Because I want this to be a bipartisan thing. I said, oh, you want to have a real conversation? Let's do it. What you going to do for Black students in this academic achievement issue? Well, we're constitutionally barred. I said, okay, stop. You are the commissioner of education. You know that Black students are struggling. You said we have to figure out how we have to teach Black children. You said that the through line of education is that when Black male students have a Black male teacher, their academic achievement skyrockets. Out of any other racial group, when a Black student has a Black teacher, it's because of the trust. For some reason, we just perform well. Why can't you put money towards that? And if you don't even put money, can you stand by me, Commissioner, if I vote yes? And say that you support the upliftment of Black students and their achievement, and you will put together a task force of people that will research what the issue is? We sitting on a call just like this. He's sitting in silence. I don't know if I can do that. But you just said it was good for kids. But you just said, did you understand my concerns? But you want me to commit political suicide, and you won't even help the kids that look like me, who you are entrusted to help as well?
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So, for me, when it comes to like the plight of Black people and Black students, I appreciate people electing me and stuff like that. But when it comes to that, I'm willing to stand on it. Because I know if I would have voted for that curriculum, God knows how many articles would have been about me. They would have talked about me like crap. But I had that meeting with him and I said, stand on it. Help us. Work with us. And he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So you're right. It might be 50, 60, 70 before we see some change. But that is the one soft spot I have. I ain't willing to back down on that. I'm not.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that, right? And even, like ever since Christian has been elected to Congress, I have seen him say quite a few times, right, that I'm Black first, right, before anything. And that it is refreshing, right? And it is nice to see so many millennials like stepping in and not doing it just the status quo way, right? Like not keeping the old legacy alive, so to speak. Like,
but you know what though? With those older folks, I feel like they probably felt like us internally, but they did what they had to do to get the stuff done that behind the scenes that we didn't know about.
I agree with that, but I also feel as though, right, like knowing how government works, right, like there's a lot more that can be done, and this is like just on a people. For it don't matter what color you are, like right. And me and like my friend Ryan, who we had the Republican Democrat debate last week, right? Like we argue about Mount Dami's approach in New York, right? And it is putting government in your face. It's making things tangible, right? And everybody knows that the government borrows and it takes forever to pay back. It borrow and borrow and borrow and borrow. So if you borrowing all this money, you borrowed all this money to bail out the banks. You borrowed all of this money to bail all of these big corporations out. They got rid of SNAP. The Republicans in Louisiana was trying to figure out what we're going to do for the grocers, right? The big people who own all the grocers, because they rely on the federal government to give them our tax dollars for them to be rich, right? So over and over.
Won't put their grocery store in our hoods.
Right. So I'm not mad at the Sheilas of the world and the Clyburns of the world and the John Lewis's of the world. I'm not upset with them. Do I understand the strategy? No. I don't understand the strategy. And I don't know if there'll ever be a time in which one of them OGs will sit down and say, this is where we was at with it.
But I think that it's like they probably saw it as like a step. I'm not going to go, like even Obama would say it, right? People said that he should have took more risk when he was president. He was like, y'all don't understand. Me being the first was the risk. And that's not absolving him of doing the work. That's not absolving, like my hometown congressman is John Lewis. That's not absolving folks like that of doing the work. But part of their work was taking the first step.
Yeah.
And in a way, we are challenged with continuing that stuff. That's kind of how I see it. Not absolving them of like doing the work for their communities and stuff. But imagine being a Black person, you get elected 2 years after Jim Crow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or John Lewis, he got a plate in his head. He could barely talk because he got stomped on in Selma. But you want him to go talk about Black people. Like, it's just, I see both sides of that. Like, I don't understand it either, but I feel like part of their work was to show us that we can do more by even taking a step to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and I think that because it is set up like that, right? That's why we have so much political unrest, because government moves so slow, right? And then you get somebody like Mondami come in, you feel me? You got, Bernie Sanders saying government can move faster than that. We can do more quicker than that, right? So then it is, right, like, because you go back to the Kwame Ture's and the Stokely Carmichaels and all of them and their social agenda and how they wanted to integrate socialism and capitalism, with the Black Panthers and them feeding the kids and all that other kind of stuff. But we, like all of this money, right? And that's how, why they started, calling them corporate Dems, right? Like, and that's, I think, where the disconnect came, is where, a lot of the times, especially as an organizer, I remember being in a room. I just talked about my boy online, Naveed, right? Like, Naveed brought me into the fold. It was like, Christian, come with me here and there and everywhere, right? So Naveed showing me the game. We in a room of all of these candidates here in Harris County, and Miss K always bring it up to me. I told them they got to stop acting like divas. You all are not celebrities. Straight up. You are not celebrities.
I heard
like
that.
you are not, like, you are representatives for the people. Like, and you need to be able to deliver these people tangible results, or they're going to get rid of you.
But look though, let me tell you a little bit, because I only been on the SBOE, but let me tell you a little bit. You talked about the Black Panther Party, you talked about Stokely Carmichael, the free lunch program and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I added that to be a standard in the Texas essential knowledge and skills for 11th grade. I got enough votes for it.
Mm-hmm.
But between first reading and second reading, somehow the chairman of the SBOE and one other board member told the content advisors to strike it out. This is just for them to learn about the Black Power movement and the Black Panther Party. That's one small, in the grand scheme of politics in the United States, that's like an ant on the wall, one small thing. And I was even slighted from doing that. So if I want to die on that hill, I'm going to have to keep working on that probably for the length of my career. That one thing. So I think probably 20, 30, 40 years ago, they probably were slighted from doing everything. I mean, it's 2026. Y'all don't even want kids to learn about the Black Power movement?
And I don't disagree with that. And I think it varies by position, right? So, like, and I think that's why people are so critical of Obama, right? And I do get it, right? Like, we Black, the standards are different for us, for us, period, right? And I get it. Like, if he want to stay the president, then he got to do certain things, right? Like, like, if I became the president, would I crash and burn? Probably so, right? Because probably so, because I'm crashing out behind Black people. Like, they're not gonna make me. They're not gonna make me the president. I'm too pro-Black. It's not gonna work.
But like, you know what could work? If we organize more. Because I heard you say you was an organizer.
I am an organizer.
If it was 100 and 200, 300 people standing behind me while I said that, them folks that wouldn't want that negative press, they would have kept the Black Power movement in them standards.
They definitely would.
One person, it's easy for them to silence you or shut you up, unseat you, scare you with losing your seat, all the tactics they have.
But I even feel like when Obama won, I remember riding around Prairie View in the car with my partners. My president is Black. Like, I'm talking about, like, Young Jeezy. If Spotify was a thing then, oh my God. Like, I mean, like, the spins, the number of times that song was spun, like, there was so much, the energy was so vibrant about, like, being Black, being educated, Black excellence, all of that stuff popped up. And, like, that moment to organize the community, and I feel like everybody was looking to the commander-in-chief to organize the community because he had made it to that apex, right? Just like the same way today, everybody in hip-hop looks to Jay-Z to be, like, the grand organizer of everything, because he has become, like, what I'm saying? He up there with the Jewish people when they talking about, like, who is running the game. You know what I mean?
Can I challenge you a little bit though? Can I challenge push on that?
Please.
I think the reason why we look to them is because we were taught history wrong. We were taught Malcolm X, if maybe Martin Luther King. We might have been taught about Marcus Garvey. Not saying these brothers weren't leaders, but the growth of Black people as who we are today came from us organizing. It came from the church mothers making sandwiches and building and praying. It came from all of us doing all of our parts together. And we don't learn history like that. We learn about one, two, or three people. So we expect, oh, if we don't have no leader, which right now, who is the black leader right now? I don't know who it would be,
I
but
don't
because we
know.
don't quote unquote have that, and because the small amount of history we've been taught is that we're supposed to have that in order to thrive, we feel lost. Can't no politician tell us what to do about ourselves. We're supposed to tell the politicians what to do.
This is
And
true.
we're supposed to hold them accountable, but there are so few of us that know about the political process and that engage with the political process. It's like, oh, they ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. You right, they ain't doing nothing because you ain't making them do nothing. They don't
This
know
is
what to do
true.
because you ain't holding them accountable. So that's why I was so passionate about like adding more truth about Black history. And me and the commissioner argued about this yesterday. He was like, Martin Luther King, I mean, he was able to convince those people to let him out of the Birmingham jail. He was just wonderful. I was like, Martin Luther King was not no magical Negro.
He was
He
not
was
a
one
man.
person out of hundreds of people that also got beat, jailed, killed, that made the Montgomery bus boycott what it was, and then made the civil rights movement what it was, and then made Lyndon B. Johnson sign the act. This was several people working together, and I wish we learned more about that so we could be more strategic in 2026. And that's what hurts me about being Black,
Yeah,
because we've been robbed of learning that. I don't think we know how to do that, and then we do this too much.
we do, right? Everybody got a nonprofit that helps people get out of jail, right? Everybody got. Am I
Wait,
lying? Am
you
I
ain't
lying? Everybody got a food pantry. Everybody is recreating the same idea,
That's right.
right? Like there was this. I was watching something on YouTube, and it was a show, back in the day where they brought all the leaders from all the Black organizations. It was the president of Howard was there. The president, like this, back when Black college presidents were like, "Yo,
The
bro,
thing,
say
yeah.
something," right?" Like, and I was talking to my partner the other day. Shout out Dr. Brown. I say he's my partner, but he's also 80 years old. So, yes,
Oh, I know Dr. Brown. I just met
yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Brown last
yeah.
week.
Yeah, so Dr. Brown, one of my mentors. So we be talking, and I'm like, man, we hear about Ruth Simmons, but like that's really all I hear about. Or unless somebody got in trouble, but you don't really hear about Black college presidents setting precedent and like cultural standards and
Right.
stuff like that, unless it's something negative. And like back in the day, but
But you
I'm
telling
talking,
other Black people what to do, what to put on their head, and how to dress.
that ain't cool. I mean, because I'm not even gonna lie. They act like they leaving the workforce and going to go work for Black people. Like they not finna leave this safe space and go into oppression. Like, give me 4 years to at least be myself enough to be confident to go out into the world and have to tone myself down a little bit so that I can feed myself and my future children. And
Or
deal.
it took me so much to get to Hampton or Spelman or Morehouse that you lucky I'm here with this bonnet on. Because if you knew what happened on the Greyhound here, on the Hoop de Ride here, you wouldn't even think I would have made it. So that's this is what you're complaining about, and I'm here at this elite Black college.
It is because I've been seeing the debate, right? About the proximity to whiteness and all of that other kind of stuff. And I see right, like I had my interns on the show, right? And I say, why y'all come on here dressed like Martin Luther King, right? And one of them so eloquently said, you got to dress the way you want to be addressed.
Dress how you want people to perceive you.
That person not wrong.
He not wrong, right? But I also had to go into that's racism. I'm not even gonna lie to you, right? Like because there are pastors in our community who they dress in very flamboyant colored suits and stuff like that. They don't wear the gray, the blue, the black, the brown. They don't fit the corporate standard of what the ruling class has said you should wear in these spaces to be deemed a respectable member of
That's
society.
right. That's right.
Self-expression is not something that is allowed, especially of the Negro. You
Especially
better
of Black people.
not,
Absolutely not.
you better not express yourself.
I
Do
had some man in November at the November meeting. I got me a little ponytail in today.
not.
In November, I had me a long wig. I mean, I don't know. I love Black girls. We love to change our hair. And one of my colleagues was like, "Oh my God, your hair looks so soft. Can I lay in it? I just want to lay in it." I'm
It's
just
weird.
like, you know what?
It's
I'm gonna
weird.
keep expressing myself like this till y'all get with the program and stop being racist, okay? Even
It's
for
just
y'all people that
weird.
don't think y'all are.
Because
So yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
necessarily.
Self-expression. we have to resist. In terms of self-expression, we do have to like resist. How we become allowed to express ourselves by resisting that? But I mean, when I'm not dressed up, people be looking at me like, "Hello, can I help you? Do you belong?" And then when I'm dressed up, I'm like, it's like, "Hi, ma'am, how can I help you? How can I serve you?" So it's just like, I guess if I didn't experience that dichotomy, I would agree with you. But it's like we are in this white supremacist society so much that even we as black people have internalized it, and we treat each other the way they have treated us.
Right. I mean, and I feel like I experience it, but I think that I don't pay it no mind. Like, yeah, I think I just ignore it, right? Because, yeah, honestly, because I get it, right? And all
You
my
don't
life,
think it help you navigate society easier?
I don't think so. No, I mean, I've always
What about the
me.
airport?
No, Stacy, I don't care. Like, I'm not even
When
gonna lie.
I'm dressed up at the airport, it's like smooth sailing.
I don't pay any of them people any attention.
That's good. Okay,
Honest to
that's
God,
good.
I don't pay anybody any attention. When I first got into politics, right, I was working for Dallas. That was the first time I ever really wore suits, like just all the time. I think I was 24, 25, right? Like I barely even knew how to wear a tie. I like screen print t-shirts. I like jeans. I like sneakers, right? I'm a 90s millennial kid, like hip hop music, streetwear. Like that's what I like to wear that, right? Like putting on the I was in Port Arthur the other day looking at all of I was at the community center and they have all of these tablets up on the wall about like the history of the west side of Port Arthur and all of the different professionals. And there were all of these brothers in these suits, nice ties and stuff like that. And I remember Alice Sadiq saying, because how old he is, gangsters look like that back in the day, right? Like that's, what I'm saying? They look like ghosts, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
right? They dressed up like that, right? And I can understand that, but I'm a little bit more 50 Cent, right? Like I would put on a suit.
I don't know.
Just
I
honestly,
like to
I'll
express
put on a
myself
suit.
different ways too. So I like to dress down a lot, but I like to dress up too. So I guess I'm just like privileged in that way because I actually enjoy dressing up. But I do see, to your intern's point, how people treat you based on how you dress. It's
No,
like
totally.
they don't even talk to you a certain way when you dressed up. Like they treat you like I wish you would. Let me treat you right.
And I don't know, like I personally, like I've experienced like just microaggressions where I've noticed them, but I think I've ignored so many of them that like I don't necessarily like feel it
I need
like
to be like that because
like
I be feeling them all. I be feeling every one of them. Like,
yeah,
can
no,
I lay in your hair? Can I lay you so soft? Can I
see,
lay in
like
your hair? So
I
I be
have
feeling them all.
like the other day I was out somewhere and there was this white dude talking about a black squirrel had run on the field during a baseball game, and he was like, making a joke like white people was chasing this black squirrel. It's like racist. And I just was like looking at him like, bro, why? Right. And it's like stuff like that. But I don't necessarily think it's racist. It's ignorant, but I don't think it's racist. I just think that he don't share enough space with black people to know that that's not something to say. Like,
Right.
because there are some black people that he shares space with where they're not going to be offended. It's going to be like, oh, that's Bradley.
Yeah, but I think
Like,
certain people get the privilege of being ignorant like that. We don't.
no, for sure.
Because I didn't share a lot of space with like white people or other like cultures, but because of my upbringing, I was raised to be cautious and to
Hmm.
be tolerant. Everybody ain't raised to just be willy nilly and not have to consider others.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? Because, like it carries different consequences for us than
Yeah,
it
that's
does
why.
for them, right? You know what I mean? Like Bradley get to just be all willy nilly and say whatever and ha 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 ha. But I think at a young age, I decided I didn't give a damn. Yeah. And because I grew up in the military system, used to get a lot of racist microaggressions from the superior officers and stuff like that. They'd be weird when you go to the movies or when you're on base. The MPs, they treat you crazy, they follow you around. I mean, I was profiled more by military police than I ever had been by police out in the free world.
Lord, that's
Like on
crazy.
the
You
on
be there. You where you supposed to be.
On the Navy base, in the NEX, going to the community center, or whatever the case may be, like running from the military police, being chased by them, like being harassed by other service members, like inside of the military microcosm. Like, I mean, because you think like we a minority here, we really a minority there.
Yeah.
So we, it's a sea of white people and a few black families in these communities and stuff like that. And the people, for the most part, who patrol these communities are white, right? There's not a lot of diversity in that. Like you're gonna have some, you have your Hispanic brother, your Filipino brother, stuff like that. But everybody else, for the most part, is white. So like, when you are there and I was constantly in these spaces with white people growing up because
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. For me, I grew up around all black people, and I grew up in Atlanta where it's like I'm black and I'm proud. Everything was like uplifted. Your expression, the way you spoke. If you didn't speak, they pushed you to speak, taught you how to speak. It was very family knit, even though it was a big city. It was a city, but we all helping each other, all pushing each other to thrive. So when I went to different spaces where that wasn't the case, like right outside of Atlanta, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
When I got to Houston, Houston is very diverse and stuff like that, but it's still Texas. I was like, oh, I was very privileged as to how I grew up. And I started noticing all the microaggressions. And I guess that's because I didn't have so many of them like you did growing up. So now I'm at this big 30-something age. I'm like, dang, y'all that ignorant?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
You want to lay in my hand 2026?
And it makes sense to me now, like when other black people are like, oh my God. And I'm just like, I'm like desensitized to it at this point. Like, I'm just like,
you have to be desensitized.
Like, I mean, I shouldn't, but like, that's just the reality, right? Yeah. Like, but also like, growing up, I would watch, MTV and this and that and the third, and I would go different places because I was in proximity to white people. I seen how white people didn't have to put on suits. They didn't have to be all dressed to the nine. And then when I left Houston and went and organized in a non-black space, nobody had on a suit. Nobody dressed like that.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
Like, nobody did that.
We deserve the privilege to be comfortable, is what I'm gathering.
Yes, for sure. Yes, for sure. Because even, think about it.
Your comfort in how you dress is an act of resistance.
When we go to these democratic spaces and when you walk around, you see how the white people are dressed. Just keep it real. Okay. You see what they got on. They got on t-shirts. They got on jeans. You know what I mean? They'll pull up.
Because we're here to do the work. Yeah.
Right. They'll pull up, right? Saying some of them might put on a blazer. But for the most part, like, they're not dressed up like us. Like, they are comfortable. And when I went and I worked at the Progressive Turnout Project, I didn't feel like I had to do more. Right. Even then in that space, there was still some like white microaggressions, right? Like, but it was more cultural incompetence because now I'm around white people who ain't never been around no black people because they don't go to Detroit.
Right.
So we right outside of Detroit. You go to Detroit, like what you explained about Atlanta, I was only in Detroit for like 8 months and it felt like what you just explained about Atlanta. Right? It was wonderfully black. It was probably the most beautiful black place I've ever been in my life.
Detroit is good.
Detroit, I felt so empowered in Detroit. Every person I talked to, the resilience was inspiring.
Because those people, not to be a history nerd, but this, those people in Detroit are the descendants of the folks who said, enough of the microaggressions, enough of the racism, we're going to go north. So that is the reason why they there. So
and so, like, because I remember like putting out job apps, like trying to hire people to work on my team. And people would ask me like, do we have to go into Detroit? Like, I would try to set up job interviews in the city of Detroit and they wouldn't come. It was serious. Like it was serious, right? It was just like, it's crime ridden. And I lived on the east side, right? And there's crime everywhere. Like I lived on the east side and I would leave and I lived in Jefferson Chalmers and it was like a nice subdivision. Now I will admit when I got into Michigan, it was potholes on the freeway. Like it was crazy. Ooh. What? Pothole on the freeway? What is going on up here? On the freeway? That's crazy.
We thought Houston was bad with the streets.
When I pulled into the city of Detroit, they didn't have city lights on, only in certain spots. Like at that time, the city government couldn't afford to pay the light bill, so they would turn the lights off. Like, and I'm riding through whole blocks black. Like I'm in the middle of the country, but I'm in a city. I'm in a metro. Whole block black. Like, cause they, now it's gotten a whole lot better. Whole lot better. And shout out to people working in the city government in Detroit and in Wayne County.
Mary Sheffield. I know she's gonna do good.
They are when they doing the thing. Like, they bringing business back to downtown Detroit. A lot of things are happening, but then I was like, this is crazy. Right. But when I went up there, the guy who started the organization, co-founder, all my bosses, everybody, nobody, no suit. Every time, t-shirt. I'm talking about these people are making 6-7 figures, no suit.
Yeah.
No suit. I started the Cannabis Freedom Party, right? Like as a PAC. It was already a marketing thing, right? And I went to this cannabis conference to talk to the people who own the company, asked them, like, is this a government thing, right? I'm trying to free the weed. We plan a meeting, we got to go out to Vegas. I drag Andre with me. Andre, get on the plane, come on, we going to Vegas. Get on the plane, we go to Vegas. I'm in there there's at least 1 billionaire and 7 millionaires in the room. No suit.
Mm-hmm.
They are white. No suit. So you mean to tell me that I got to be dressed like Minister Farrakhan everywhere I go? I'm just saying. And these white boys get to just be free? Like, that's like my biggest thing about being
it upsets me too. Mm-hmm.
Like, I deserve to be free in my body. You
deserve to be free and comfortable and express yourself.
I don't care about what Mother Adams said, so anybody else about their black respectability and all of that stuff. This is my one black life, and I only get today and maybe tomorrow. That's right. And today, I'm going to do this for me. Not because Mark Zuckerberg might give me a job, or not because Senator so-and-so I got to be dressed like this to represent, because people died. Those people who died, they died for freedom in their body. And if I don't
that's right.
You know what I mean? If I don't express my freedom, then what did they do that for? Mm-hmm. What was the point? What is the point? If the point is we have to continually conform to white supremacy and white social standards, how are we actually getting to
the standards that they don't follow themselves?
Right. But it's for us to be able to stand next to them in space and possibly be accounted in the money rainfall. That's horseshit.
Mm-hmm.
Either you got to do that.
When we come together ourselves and work together, the more we do that, the less necessary that will become as well.
But then we got to jump over the Tuskegee hurdle. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the dress how you want to be addressed. That's the Tuskegee hurdle. Right? Like that's the thing. Like before we even get to the white people, the other black people who are telling us we are less than because I got on a t-shirt and not a button up, those are the people who are in the way. Because we got bigger problems, just like people who are bigoted about homosexuality and all this other kind of stuff that doesn't matter, telling women what to do with their bodies. The plight of black people is that we are not free in our bodies. We are not free in our minds. And we don't have freedom of the tongue. And as much as anybody who wants to be Candace Matthews-like or anybody else wants to stand over there and act like we free when they placate to the whiteness, they are doing everybody that's black and those black kids that they're gonna have with these white men a disservice. Like freedom, like Beyonce screaming on that damn record. You know what I mean? Like,
and I think the way you fight for freedom, the way we fight for freedom going forward is gonna have to look a lot different, because I think there is a shift. You said that earlier. 50 years ago, maybe that was the way they had to fight for freedom to get to this point. But now, the way we fight for freedom is going to require us to, one, fight together, but two, shift the way we think. Yeah. And I mean, the Gen Zers, they well beyond this
they
thing
on something
of
else.
Like freedom. You know what I'm saying? So,
they on something else. They got blue hair, purple hair. They blowing my mind. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been learning about Minecraft. I feel like somebody pawpaw. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like somebody pawpaw. They like the way that they just engage virtually. Like it's never been like, and I play the game, but I play it like it's 1997, right?
Oh,
With
yeah,
somebody by myself.
I done seen folks play games, and I'm like, oh Lord, that's a lot.
But it's a whole universe in there. Like it is a way of gathering that is so far removed from like MySpace and like AOL chat.
Right.
Like it's like Spanish. It's so hard for
Yeah.
me to learn.
It's kind of, but you AOL chats and instant messaging used to be lit back in the day. Though the chat
It
room and
used to
stuff
be
used to
lit.
be lit.
But now they building whole communities. I met a guy who created a church in the metaverse. It was called Meta Church. He told me Ralph West preached at his church in the metaverse on the Oculus. They on the Oculus praising the Lord on the Oculus. Whole church,
Yeah, that's
6,000
good, but
people.
that made me kind of freaked out. I need to research that. I need to do some more research on that, man.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like the way that humans are engaging now, both in real life and in the virtual world, is at a point now where like Black people can create these spaces and be free, right? Like there's
Yeah,
freedom is close by. It ain't far away, right?
and
Because we have
we
the
need
internet.
technology and information to be able to access that knowledge, because I think there's a privilege in like having that knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
It definitely
Yeah.
is, because I was talking to somebody. I was in Beaumont. Well, I was in Beaumont and Port Arthur the other day, helping one of the elders in the community with some of his business stuff, and he getting his website redone. Whoever redid his website didn't optimize it for the phone, right? And I'm like, hey, brother, people don't have laptops, right? Like they don't have computers at home. So the people that you're trying to serve, they're not going to be able to access your stuff
They can't find you
because
in white pages.
we don't, right? Like, and they don't have computers. So if you got to make it for the phone, right? Because we don't have the privilege of having laptops. When they do give our children laptops, they get them Chromebooks that don't.
Them Chromebooks, yeah.
Oh Lord, them Chromebooks, like
And also, when you get the Chromebook, knowing how to optimize it and knowing how to use it to best serve you.
Like, did you take
That
a computer
requires
class?
us. No, I took Mavis Beacon. Well,
You think?
something like Mavis Beacon or something like
I
that.
don't
Yeah,
think they do Mavis Beacon no more.
No, they don't. They don't.
Like,
But I don't even know if they need a computer class anymore, because like most of their stuff is on a computer anyway. So like
they
kind of
need
learning through everything.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they
They
do
still
not.
do like this.
Oh my God, they are terrible.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
are
now I
terrible.
would say I know for the CTE courses, high school courses, there's going to be some integration of social media, some integration of AI and all that. But you got to think, and that's why we need to elect more forward-thinking people. There's a lot of the electeds, at least in Texas, that are against what you're talking about. They're against being technology forward, even though we know technology is the way. Ain't no getting around it.
They say it's the
A lot
mark
of
of the
people
beast.
well, I think probably some of them say it's the mark of the beast, but they also think that they want to go back to the basics: reading, writing, arithmetic. They feel like you shouldn't learn math conceptually. You shouldn't learn how to do timetables with boxes. You should just memorize everything.
Now the
But we all
timetables
know
with
that.
the boxes is crazy.
But it helps students conceptually think, so they can transfer that conceptual knowledge to other subjects and other math concepts. You should know. I mean, I'm for memorizing some stuff, but not memorizing everything.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And I think that pushback is going to get in the way of a lot of folks.
Okay. So I do want to ask you, right? I've always wanted to know, what is your Houston story? Like, what made you decide to stay here?
Yeah. Came here. I was thinking I would teach for 2 years and go back home, but I liked Houston.
Yeah.
Like I once I started meeting folks and started hanging out and stuff, I loved it. And you know your city, Houston has that way of just like drawing you in. And I was either going to be an assistant principal or I was either going to go to law school. And when I visited Thurgood and I met some of the students one Sunday after going to church, I was like, oh, I got to go. It's the time. The time is right now. And then once I went to law school, I was learning a lot of the Texas rules. So I'm like, am I going to go back to Georgia and try to take the Georgia bar, even though I went to law school in Texas? People do it all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't think I had the capacity for that, because I had taken a semester off to work for the Obama administration. So I was already kind of behind. And I was like, let me just take this Texas bar. So then I got licensed here. And I don't know, I just fell in love with the city. There was one stint out of my entire 13 years, obviously during COVID, where I was like, oh man, the world is crazy. I need to go. I need my mama. You know what I mean? I need
I
to
can feel that.
go. But I ain't go. I think my cousin and my family members kind of talked me out of it. They were like, Staci, you building your life, keep building it. So yeah, I mean, I got enriched in the community. I started meeting people my mother's age that were like second mothers.
Mm-hmm.
The food is top tier.
For sure.
Um, I don't know. And now in 2026, I really don't see myself living anywhere else. Like DC is a nice place. Atlanta will always be home, but it's almost like Atlanta don't need me right now.
Yeah.
I feel like when I came here and I saw at the school where I first worked, I saw how black students were treated. That was like my first experience at work. I saw that the black students were treated different like than everybody else. I'm like, oh, it was like a light bulb went on. And it's funny how my life has come full circle 13 years later. That's still what I'm passionate about. That first
Yeah.
experience that I had back then. I mean, and Atlanta has its own issues. I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I think I now think that God has literally placed me in this space for this time, for this season, for those students. So yeah.
It's all right. Yeah, no, I asked that because a lot of people think I'm from Houston, but I'm not. I'm from Virginia originally. I'm from Norfolk. Virginia.
From Norfolk, wow.
Yeah, I'm a military brat.
You from down the way. We used to go party at the Norva.
Yeah, I know. So I left Virginia when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And I moved to Texas. I lived in South Texas, right outside of Corpus Christi.
Okay.
We moved from Portland to Jacksonville, Florida. From Jacksonville, Florida, to San Diego, California. From San Diego to Japan. I graduated high school in Japan. Then I moved to Houston.
Oh wow, that sounds like the exact trajectory of my friend Jordan. She went to all those places. She's in the Navy too.
Okay, yeah.
So she's about she was gonna go to Okinawa, but I think she's not going. She's still stationed in Omaha right now.
Okay, yeah. No, it's a lot of moving.
All those places.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been here since I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else.
Okay.
I was actually having a debate on Facebook the other day. Well, it wasn't a debate. One of my classmates from Prairie View was like, I hate when people that's not from Houston be in pictures throwing up the H like they from here. And I was like,
yeah, that's me too. I'm here.
That's me. I live here. But like, I'm a military brat, so I get to choose. Yeah.
I mean, I've been living here 13 years and that don't count.
It counts for me, but I'm a transplant. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I understand. But I mean, Houston being one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S., transplants can have a voice.
Everybody, we outnumber the locals. I think so. At this point, like there's so many of us who are like, yeah, we're Houstonians now. Like, let us in. We all need to kumbaya. Like, we all live here now.
I worried about that. I worried about that when I was running for office. I'm like, I'm not from here, so people wonder why I want to serve, and I'm like, no, transplants can serve their communities, like you and I both do every day. So.
Yeah, for sure. No, like the people in Houston show so much love. Like Houston is a beautiful city, great culture, people resilient, love coming together, great food. Like I wouldn't live anywhere else. I've been knowing I was going to live here since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and the Lord talked.
Okay. I was gonna say when I left, I had an interview in Houston when I was still at Hampton, but I don't know. I got scared or something and like didn't take the job. And then 4 years later, I ended up actually moving here. So it was always in my cards to live in Houston too.
Oh no, the Galleria.
The first time.
The Galleria used to have. I don't know if you were here when the Galleria had the circular signs, the metal ones.
Oh, no.
So in the Galleria, the street signs used to be big.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Of course.
Right. Yeah. I'm, being from Virginia, we don't have anything like that. We go down to the Galleria, we standing there, and I just see these big ass circles hanging from the sky. I'm like, what in the hell is going? Mom, this place is awesome. Like, what? She was like, oh, baby, they're just street signs. I'm like, these are not just street signs. We have street signs. These are not just street signs. And I told God, I said, when I become a man, I'm going to live here because there's something going on in this city.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you made it happen.
I did. The Lord be listening. Say, all right.
So do.
So.
I think for me, Houston made me like a lady. Like I was born and raised in Atlanta, but I became a lady here in Houston. Like it grew me up. I feel
I,
like had I stayed back home, I would have been loved on by my family and stuff like that, but I would have remained stagnant, helping other
mm,
people achieve their dreams or just being pulled so many different ways. And I think God actually pulled me to the side to another city so that He could do with me what He wanted to be done with me.
yeah,
I'd have been so distracted.
yeah, for sure. I can see that. I can see that. I get distracted here, and I ain't
Yeah.
all my friends, just all my inherited family. Yeah, But so, okay, one more question.
Yeah.
What gives you hope?
What gives me hope? I would say like children.
Mm,
Children have like carte blanche, like a clean slate. And like I see them as like a blank canvas and it's up to us to like make a beautiful world for them so
hmm
that they can do the same. So I say children give me hope. You ever be around kids? I know you have a daughter, but like being around children, seeing their innocence, seeing how they learn stuff, seeing how they grasp stuff. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. The world ain't that
hmm
bad. Being
I'm
around children.
crying a lot.
Um, what else gives me hope? Uh, I'll say like small wins, right? Like I told you when we first started the conversation, when I resigned from SBOE, I didn't know all these people was trying to run, and
Hmm
when I first started, um, nobody knew what it was. So it makes me think, okay, people are listening. There is something happening. There is a change that may be coming, even though when you in the thick of it day to day, it feels like you hitting a brick wall, brick wall, brick wall. But when you take a step back and you can see like the bigger picture, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
things are happening. So yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know what else gives me hope. I don't know.
I
The
mean,
Lord,
well,
in these times, I've been having to hold on to the Lord because these times are timing.
got to hold on
These
tight.
times are timing.
Got to
So
hold on tight and read your Bible. Pastor say, read your Bible.
yeah,
Yeah, but Stacy, this was awesome.
thank you. I can't hear nothing else you're saying.
You
I
know,
about to say, look, tell your listeners you can still donate to my general election campaign. Shout out some
wait,
text.
did I turn off? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yes. I was about to say, um, in the clips of this video, I'm going to always tell you all to donate to Stacey's campaign. We have to get her over the hump in November. Secondly, um, I am going to, and I'm gonna make sure that my assistant puts that picture of me doing my block walking for you in the clip. Um,
Yes, because I said that. Because I heard that there's some like conservative newspaper going around in District 131. I haven't got my hands on one yet. I need to check that out.
oh, I ain't seen that. I mean, well, my people live over there, so I asked. I mean, that's where I get my haircut at. I spend a lot of time over there. I go
Over
to
in the
church
park.
over there. Yeah. I
What church you go to?
go to Greater St. Matthew.
Oh, I didn't know
South
that.
Bend. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Booker the third is my pastor.
When I was a teacher at Bastion, he used to come and read to my students.
No. Gusta got a good heart. Good heart for the community.
Yes, he do.
Yes, everybody, the Staci Childs, she is running to be the House State Representative for House District 131 here in Houston, Texas, and she needs your help. Yes. Do you have anything that you want to say to anybody before we go?
Thank you for everybody that supported me. Thank you guys for engaging with my social media content. There are even some folks that came all the way to Austin over my years in the SBOE that came to testify. Thank you. Your voices don't go unnoticed. It's August 6th. Hopefully, we will get over that hump November 3rd. I need your support, mainly so we can get over the hump, but mainly so I can hire my staff for January because we want a dynamic legislative office, and I need the coins to do that. So,
Whoop, whoop. Well, all right. Yo, I appreciate this. This was a great. I knew this was going to be a very empowering and black conversation, and
yes,
I've been waiting for it to happen. I cannot wait to clip all of the stuff that we talked about so that we can preach the gospel of blackness and how beautiful and wonderful we are as a people.
that's right. And thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast. I don't take it lightly.
No,
Thank you.
of course, you can come on here anytime. Like
Thank
you
you.
are always welcome. Yes, always welcome.
And I didn't know we had that Virginia connection.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Most people don't know that I'm from Virginia. They They just assumed that I'm from Hiram Clark.
From the 757. Okay.
Yes, South Norfolk. I actually have it. I got it. I got it tattooed on my arm. It's kind of part of my little arm collage.
Oh,
See?
that's cool. Okay, I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be wearing suits. Restriction of expression. I'm not even gonna get back on my high horse. All right, y'all. Gotta go. It's time for Meet the Teacher.
Bye.
Bye.